pretty a very important topic. How to set boundaries in relationships and stay true to yourself. Setting boundaries in relationships means knowing your limits, respecting yourself, and communicating clearly with others. Healthy boundaries help build trust, confidence, and peaceful relationships while allowing you to stay true to your values and personality. So, my first question is, what are personal boundaries in relationships?
That's a really great place to start. Personal boundaries in relationships are basically the limits you set for yourself about what you are comfortable with, how you expect to be treated, and what you need in order to feel safe, respected, and valued. These boundaries can be emotional, physical, or even time related, and they give you a sense of control and self respect in your interactions. Does that make sense to you?
What are boundaries important for mental? Why are boundaries important for mental peace?
That's a really key point. Boundaries are so important because they protect your mental health by preventing burnout, resentment, or feeling overwhelmed. When you set boundaries, you're essentially honoring your own needs, which creates a sense of safety and balance. You don't have to overextend yourself and you can be more present and authentic. So, in a way, they give you foundation for a more peaceful, less reactive state of mind.
Okay. My next question is, how can healthy boundaries improve friendships?
That's a great question. Healthy boundaries in friendships help create a sense of trust and mutual respect. When you're clear about what you need and what you're comfortable with, you avoid misunderstandings or resentment building up. It also gives each person the space to be themselves. So the friendship becomes more balanced, honest, and supportive. In short, boundaries actually free the friendship to grow in a healthier way.
Right. What happens when people ignore boundaries?
Yeah, that's really important to talk about. When people consistently ignore boundaries, it can lead to a lot of stress, frustration, and emotional drain. You might feel unheard, disrespected, or even taken for granted. Over time, that can erode trust and even cause the relationship to break down. So, keeping those boundaries consistent is really crucial for long term connection and respect.
Right. My next question is, how do boundaries help build self respect?
That's a beautiful connection. Boundaries help build self respect because they're a way of saying, I value myself enough to protect my needs and my time. When you set and maintain boundaries, you're affirming that your feelings, your comfort, and your values matter. As you consistently honor those boundaries, you gain self trust, and that in turn boosts your confidence and sense of worth.
Right. Why do some people struggle to say no?
Yeah, that's really common. And a lot of people struggle to say no because they fear disappointing others, or they worry about being seen as rude or unkind. Sometimes it's tied to a need for approval or fear of conflict. But over time, not saying no can lead to feeling overextended or taken advantage of. So learning to say no, even in small ways, is a skill that really helps protect your time and your well being.
How can communication help in setting boundaries?
Oh, communication is absolutely crucial. When you openly express your needs and limits, you let others know exactly where you stand. Clear communication reduces misunderstandings and gives others a chance to respect your boundaries. It also helps you feel more power and confident because you're being honest and you're creating a safe space where both sides know what to expect.
What are emotional boundaries?
Yeah, so emotional boundaries are about protecting your feelings and your emotional well being. They involve recognizing what emotions are yours and what belong to others, and deciding how much you share or absorb. When you set emotional boundaries, you keep yourself from being overly influenced by others' emotions or from suppressing your own. It's about staying grounded in your own emotional truth while still being empathetic and connected.
How can social media affect personal boundaries?
Yeah, social media can really blur those lines. On one hand, it's a great way to connect, but it can also make you feel like you constantly have to respond or share. People might overstep by expecting immediate replies or sharing too much personal info. So, setting boundaries on how you engage, like limiting your screen time, deciding what you post, and being mindful of who you interact with, can really help protect your peace and privacy.
How do boundaries create healthier relationships?
Yeah, absolutely. Boundaries create healthier relationships because they set a foundation of respect and balance. When both people are aware of and honor each other's limits, it reduces conflicts, misunderstandings, and resentment. You both feel safer and more valued, which encourages trust and open communication. And that in turn helps the relationship grow in a more positive, sustainable way.
Okay. What is the difference between healthier and unhealthy boundaries?
That's a really good distinction. Healthy boundaries are clear, flexible, and respect both yourself and others. They allow for support and connection without sacrificing your well being. Unhealthy boundaries, though, tend to be either too rigid, like shoving people out, or too loose, where you give too much in the point of feeling drained. So the difference really is about balance, clarity, and respect on both sides.
How can a teenager set boundaries with friends?
Yeah, that's a big one, especially since peer pressure can be really strong. Teenagers can start by being clear about what they're comfortable with, like saying no to things they don't want to do or making their values known. It helps to practice ahead of time, and they can keep it simple. Just affirm, I'm not comfortable with that, or I need some time for myself. And having trusted adults or a support system can also really help them navigate those boundaries.
Okay. Why is honesty important while expressing limits?
Oh, honesty is key because it builds trust and authenticity. When you're honest about your limits, people know exactly where you stand, and that reduces confusion or resentment later on. It also means you're respecting yourself, which encourages others to respect you as well. And being honest keeps the relationship real. People know they can trust you, and you stay true to yourself.
How can someone stay true to themselves in peer pressure?
Yeah, that's a really tough one, especially for teens or anyone feeling that external pressure. The key is to know your values really well and remind yourself of them regularly. Stay connected to trusted friends or role models who encourage you to stay grounded. And you can practice small acts of saying no or setting limits, even just in little ways, to build your confidence. Over time, those small steps really help you stay true to yourself, even in a crowd.
Right. What are signs that a boundary is being crossed?
Yeah, so there are a few big signs. You might feel frustrated, drained, or resentful, like something's off. Maybe you notice yourself just saying yes out of guilt, or you feel like your needs or comfort are being ignored. Your stress levels might rise, or you might feel anxious or out of balance. Those are all red flags that a boundary needs to be restated or reinforced.
How can boundaries reduce stress and misunderstandings?
Yeah, absolutely. When you have clear boundaries, you know what you're responsible for and what you're not. That means you're less likely to overcommit or feel like you're walking on eggshells. And because you're being direct, others understand your needs better, so there's less guesswork and fewer conflicts. That all leads to a calmer, more predictable environment, which really reduces stress.
Right. Why is self confidence important in maintaining boundaries?
Yeah, self confidence is really crucial because it gives you the courage to enforce your boundaries without second guessing yourself. When you believe in your worth and your right to set limits, you're more likely to speak up, stay consistent, and not feel guilty. And that confidence reassures others too, so they take your boundaries more seriously, which keeps the dynamic healthy and respectful.
How can families support healthy boundaries?
Yeah, families play such a big role. They can support healthy boundaries by encouraging open, non judgmental communication from a young age. When family members respect each other's space, needs, and individuality, it sets a great model. Also, they can validate each other's feelings, be flexible, and give everyone the freedom to express themselves. When that happens, everyone feels safer and more understood.
Right. What should someone do if others don't respect their limits?
Yeah, that's really tough. If others consistently ignore your boundaries, it's important to calmly and firmly restate them. If that doesn't work, you may need to limit contact or take a step back from that relationship. Surround yourself with people who do respect your limits, and remember that it's okay to prioritize your peace. You deserve to be treated with respect.
Okay. In conclusion, setting boundaries is an important part of healthy relationships and self respect. When people communicate their limits clearly and stay true to themselves, they create stronger, happier, and more balanced connections with others. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for giving answer to this question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.